can see here, as he's running, he starts leaning towards one side because it's really heavy. So as you guys know, I haven't really been covering games very much in this channel, and I think it's about time we remedy that. So in this episode, we are going to be covering some of the games that I'm looking forward to playing this fall, these holidays, why I am looking forward to playing them, and how it all revolves around animation. So let's do that in this episode number 26. I'm an animator right now, but before that, I used to be a gamer and I used to play a lot of games. I came from a very humble beginning, so I never really had a console growing up, and my first console was the PS2 that I bought myself with a little scrap money that I had working on McDonald's and serving as a waiter. So that was my first console when I was about 20, 21. Before that, I played a lot of consoles due to other people allowing me to play on their house, and their games, and I really enjoyed games all throughout. Work hard, study in order to become a real games developer. So my animation journey started, I finished my degree, and within 3 years or so, I finally find my first job in games. And now I was officially a developer, so living the dream, great stuff. Because you actually kind of are so embedded in games and you're working in the same game for such a long time, by the time you get home, you become a bit exhausted. So the gamer that you were before obviously no longer exists because now you're living and breathing games. So having a break from games helps you, at least helps me. So I find myself not playing so many games now as I used to back then. In order for me to feel more embedded within the community, the gaming community itself, I felt like I had to start making a difference, not only developing games and publishing games, but also being involved with the community at large. In the summer of 2015, I joined the board of BAFTA Games, and BAFTA is basically what you would actually see as the Oscars in America, but for the UK. But the difference is that BAFTA not only does movies, but they also do TV and games. And each event is held separately, so each event has the spotlight for a certain period of time. And I feel like every year when it comes to voting, I need to actually have a good understanding of what games are out there and what makes them special. For this year, they've created a specific award for animation in games. These 3 games that I'm going to present to you next are basically 3 of these games that I'm actually really looking at from that viewpoint. So these 3 games are really amazing to me, and we're going to look at them from this perspective of animation and gameplay really intertwining and making the best game possible. Let's do that next. So the first game that I'd like to show you guys that I'm really pumped to play is Astral Chain, as dropped already August 30th, I believe, and that was my daughter's birthday, so I couldn't get the game. After playing Nier Automata, I feel like every single game that Platinum puts out, I need to play it because the feeling that the game gives you, it's very unique to this studio. On top of that, this game gives you 2 characters to control, and from what I hear and what I see, the 2 characters are very easy to control. This game looks really cool, and I just want to show you a little bit of what gets me excited about this game in terms of animation. Let's do it. Platinum is really good at animation, and they are good at making animation snappy and reactive. So I'm curious to see from an animator perspective how they actually made this specific animation set to be reactive with 2 characters on the screen at the same time. And as you can see here, they actually keep on attacking at the same time. So I'm guessing that you can actually throw your Legion in order to create certain moves, and then you can upgrade those moves. Now, the thing that I really like as well about Platinum Games is that they always give you these small cutscenes in between. So as you can see on this one, you're attacking, your Legion is attacking, and then here you go back into like this small cutscene that basically identifies that you've killed the enemy, and now you can go on into the next bit of the game. So very reminiscent to Nier Automata. As you're doing your attacks, there's a lot of flourishes in your animation that you go through. So here, notice this guy, as he's actually shooting, he's not only shooting, but he's doing these flourishes. So one shot, and then he turns, another one, and then turns again, another shot, and then there's a backflip, shoots some more, a final like bazooka shot. And I think it creates like a really dynamic way of playing. There's always stuff going on. It's over the top, but in this case it's in a very good way. Also, when it comes to combat, notice this beast here, that as the beast is actually attacking you, you get telegraphed to you as a player that an attack is coming in order for you to be able to dodge or counter attack. So here is really nice because you can see like really big dashes here. When the creature is up here, there's a little bit of a stop, so you can actually dodge away. So it goes up and then it goes down, and that little up and then down allows the player to move away from the creature on time. Beautiful animations, beautiful controls, really nice effects, just over the top everything in order for you to have that feeling that you're a superhero. And this is why Platinum Games feels so good, because every single move, every single thing that you do in the game pretty much has this ethos all over. And I'm really looking forward to this game. And if Platinum Games is watching this, continue to do a kick-ass job, because you guys are doing amazing. And now let's move on to the second game that I'm looking forward to play this holiday. And Doom, to me, I played the one before this one, which was quite a few years ago now. Felt really good, and I think they unlocked some formula towards the Doom IP, the sense that the game didn't really have to be difficult per se, but the one thing that the game had to do the most is to make you feel like a badass all the way through, and they definitely managed to capture that. Now, I'm fully expecting that this Doom Eternal actually is better in so many ways, but the one thing that he definitely upgraded the level was on the animation. You can see throughout the whole game that the whole animation is so much more polished. You can see it right here in the beginning when he picks up the helmet and puts the helmet on and grabs it. It just feels so heavy. And then on top of that, the thing that matters most, the weapons. The weapons feel really good. Just the way the blade comes out and goes in just feels just so good. This thing here, when he opens the weapon and pulls the weapon back up, just nice, just weighty. Now, what I want you to actually pay attention throughout the video is that all the weapons are restricted to this one side here. You'll see that the gun is much more connected to the weapon in comparison to most first-person shooter games out there, which creates this sense that you can always control your weapon because there's no delay for the weapon to catch up. The weapon sways a little bit on the spot, but doesn't actually kind of overlap so much. So the next thing that you see is this mechanic of actually pulling enemies and using them as pretty much like a pinball version. You just grab them and then you use them in order to shoot off and go somewhere else. And this is what gives you that sense, that a flow towards it. The whole animation here, like whenever you actually see an enemy, want to actually do a finish him to them, and it's like beautifully done because it's almost like a cheat. As you can see, you're walking towards it over one frame. Notice here, it goes, the enemy's here right now, and then he disappears, and then he appears. And this is what makes you believe that like it's a continuous motion, even though it's not. I'm guessing that what's really happening is that they actually pre-bake finishing moves per character, and what you see now is like a baked animation of what the hero is doing to the specific character. The sense of fluidity is incredible in this game, basically. Notice this. This is one bit that I saw that I was like, wow, this is great. He actually swings off the pole, goes into the next platform, shoots a guy while moving, shoots another guy while moving, shoots down. This is basically what happens in Doom every time, and this is why you feel so badass. There's this guy flying, he shoots him. This is why Doom is so cool. Basically, if you like horror movies, then I highly recommend Doom. Doom is like a really good game. It's not good because of the blood, it's good because of the mechanics of the game. The one downside about Doom that I really don't like is the music, but that's a personal thing because I'm a hip-hop head, and I would love for Doom to have maybe a gangster hip-hop track playing on the back or something like that. And yeah, just that's Doom. Let's go into the next one. Last but definitely not least, it's the one game that I'm looking forward to playing the most this year, and that is Death Stranding. I'm a big fan of Hideo Kojima, and I believe he does amazing games, and every single thing that I've seen shows me nothing but a labor of love by Kojima and the team. After seeing the 45 minute gameplay demo that he gave at the Tokyo Game Show, I'm even more hyped now. Seeing the nuance and the little details on the animations, it's just something else. I feel like it's fresh. So let's dive into, so I can tell you some of the stuff that is in my mind about this game. The first thing that I want to show you guys is this thing that they showed, which basically it's about the main character collecting cargo. Now, what I really like animation related, it's the fact that whenever you load different cargo on his backpack, his animation changes quite a bit, and every time you load it, he does like a repetitive animation, as in like, this is really heavy, and then he gets to a point that is too heavy and he changes stance here. Because of the heaviness of the pack, I was wondering, as the manual was going through, is that going to translate into game? Because then it was going to make the game really slow, and it does. You can see here you can see here that as he's running, he starts leaning towards one side because he's really heavy, and he's really slow when he walks around. And then as you go along, you realize that you can get extra things, like in this case he gets some robotic legs to aid him on the walk, to make sure that he walks faster, takes the weight off, etc. And then later on you also get this cargo metal thing that hovers and carries your case. So now you have legs that make you walk faster, and you also have like this hovering thing that follows you anywhere you go. This world obviously is really gray, most likely it rains a lot. So he has this hood here that whenever it senses that it's gonna rain, the hood just pops in automatically, and then they added the little extra detail of slow motion. He goes, and then he goes back into play. That's awesome. That is really cool. I think the combat is going to be really nice on here. You have moments that you can slow down the action in order to select a different inventory item or something. I feel like they are spending a lot of time with their animations. I'm guessing you're going to have loads of options when it comes to attacking your enemy, when it comes to engaging your enemy. I'm guessing you can be stealth, or you can just be hands-on like this. And this makes me reminisce a lot about Metal Gear Solid, and that's a good thing. It's a very good thing, because I believe, like myself, many people have been waiting to play a good Metal Gear Solid, and this might be the closest thing to it. Now, I really like the animation of the beasts. I have a friend working here, Gab. Shout out to Gab if he's watching this. I'm guessing that all the animation team that they have over there must be top notch, because every animation that I can see here looks great, and to actually have this much variety in animation means that they must have spent so much time creating different assets for different situations. So like the creatures look very nice, but most importantly it's the main character's animations. When he's in his bike, but he actually goes from side to side, it would be much easier for him to just be sitting down on the bike, as normal games do, and just have the bike drive the animation. But you can see on the animation itself that he is genuinely steering the bike with his body, as if it's very difficult to steer the bike. So that adds that layer of detail to the animations. So whenever the terrain changes, you'll see now that he will adjust his footing and his stance in order to compensate for the weight on his back going downhill. And that is beautiful to me. Like, that is really, really nice. And then you can see that as soon as the hill stops being a little less steep, he goes in a little more relaxed stance. You'll see here next. So now he's in a bit more relaxed stance. He can actually move his arms a little bit. The cutscene guys in Kojima Productions are doing an excellent job. The whole sequence feels very connected. The camera work is top notch, and the character reflects the amount of backpacks you had, the amount of cargo you had. So I think that you're gonna feel very much like this is a continuation of the story without feeling like you've been cut off and then something else happens when the cutscene and then you go back to how you were before, as most of you must have felt in certain games. Yeah, these interactions that that the main character has with the camera, yeah, pretty epic. As you can see here, at some point he was gonna look at the camera, he's gonna wink at the camera, and then he's gonna go off to have a shower. I'm guessing this is your headquarters. This is where you probably do set up things, have a shower, clean up, and before you go into our next adventure. Looking forward to it. Cannot wait for the drop, November as well. I think it's gonna be a great year for games, a great year to actually spend the winter playing games at home, because there's nothing better. And this is my top pick when it comes to the games that I'm most looking forward to playing this year. I hope you guys liked the video and you took something useful out of this. Until the game comes out, you cannot know if it's going to be really good or really bad. I want to see how the game plays more than I want to see a pretty trailer that tells me that this game is going to be phenomenal. I love trailers, and I think a trailer is there for a purpose, but at the end of the day, when it comes to games, I think the gameplay is definitely the most important thing, and these 3 games put gameplay at the forefront. So now that I mentioned my top 3 games, please let me know what are your top 3 games for this fall. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below. So that's it for this week. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, as always. And until then, stay well, stay safe. Peace!